The race for '08, and Fred Thompson. After months of speculation, the lawyer, former senator, former actor, has joined the race, saying he wants to be president to make the world safer for American children and grandchildren. And he's already holding a strong second, coming in second among Republicans in the polls, only behind former prosecutor and mayor Rudolph Giuliani. We are going to talk to Senator Thompson in a moment, but first, senior political correspondent Jake Tapper leads us off with some of the questions from the campaign trail.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to line up this strip for this close to the election?
Fred Thompson, the star of In the Line of Fire, has stepped into the line of political fire.
I feel this is another door to serve the country that I love. So the preseason is over. Let's get on with it.
His campaign kicked off with a glowing biopic called The Hunt for Red November. But as he tools around Iowa in his kid-friendly campaign bus, complete with a diaper-changing table for his toddler son Samuel, serious issues loom, like his work ethic. In the Senate, Thompson was not known as a workhorse. Will the 65-year-old have the energy for the rigorous road to Pennsylvania Avenue? His health. How will his lymphoma, reportedly in remission, impact his run? His campaign coffers. How seriously will his relatively late entry into the race hurt him in fundraising? His wife. What about his 40-year-old wife, Jerry, the glamorous former Republican operative whom many Thompson staffers this summer said was too controlling of the campaign? Another big question for the candidate selling himself as a conservative with star power. How conservative is he really? Thompson has a generally conservative voting record and is a firm supporter of the war in Iraq. But some conservative activists don't consider him one of their own.
If he's a conservative, he's kept it secret.
All questions that will be answered in the coming weeks, starting right now.
That's why I'm here today.
For Good Morning America, Jake Tapper, ABC News, Washington.
We are citizens.
And a chance to get to know him as a presidential candidate. Senator Fred Thompson joins us now live. Senator, good morning. Welcome to the campaign trail. Welcome to your second day.
Good morning, Diane.
Let's start with the news of the day if we can. Osama bin Laden, we just saw that a videotape is coming out, presumably taunting Americans again on the anniversary of 9/11. If you were sitting in the Oval Office today, what would you do to capture bin Laden and to eradicate al-Qaeda that the Bush administration has not done?
Diane, that's tactics. You don't know what the president knows in terms of intelligence as to how they can pinpoint where Osama bin Laden is right now. I think the point is clearly he's there. Clearly he's somewhere along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, and clearly he's still giving orders. And the even broader concern that Americans should have is that al-Qaeda is still out there in the world. They're in Western Europe. They're in the United States. They're in Iraq. Iraq is a part of a global effort, a global war that al-Qaeda and radical fundamental Muslim has been carrying on against us for some time. We didn't pay much attention to it for a while, but we are now, and we're finding that there's a global war going on against us, and we'd better figure out a way to contain it because it's going to be with us for a long time after Iraq.
We are looking at it in Pakistan. We know that there are training troops right now for al-Qaeda. Right there, you can see them. We've seen the videotapes. We know that the Pakistani government has not been able to stop it. Would you send a lot of American troops in to do it if the Pakistani government cannot? What can be done right now? We're sitting and looking at it.
Well, again, you're talking about tactical maneuvers that have to do with a friend in the Pakistani government. Mr. Musharraf has got his own problems within his government. He's been of substantial help to the United States. That is a very mountainous area over in there. It's very difficult to find anybody in that terrain. I've been over there myself in years past. So you don't go willy-nilly into a place like that. It's already trying to help you, even though it's hurting them politically and putting their own lives in danger sometime when they do help you. You know, you have to do the best you can working with your two intelligence operations together.
I can turn a moment, if I will, now to politics. If you'll join me on the campaign trail with your fellow Republicans, talking about you getting into the race and getting into the race late. As you know, a number of them have already been on the campaign trail more than 200 days and making hundreds of trips to the campaign state. And here's what they had to say about you in the debate getting in at this point.
Why the hurry? Why not take some more time off? Maybe January, February might be a better time to make a final decision about getting in this race.
I think he's done a pretty good job of playing my part on Law and Order.
Maybe we're up past his bedtime, but the point is, I think
That's Senator McCain. As you know, Newsweek, a cover, lazy like a fox. What about this challenge about laziness, and do you have enough fire in the belly?
Well, I think their writers are getting better, to tell you the truth. Some of those lines were kind of funny. But the question was, am I lazy like a fox? Well, you know, that's a question that I guess will be resolved on the campaign trail. I don't see any need to address that. Same sort of thing that they said about me in 1994 when I was behind 20 points against a popular incumbent congressman, and we wound up 20 points ahead. Second race I won, it was by an all-time number of votes, largest number of votes in the history of the state when I left office without any visible opposition. I was apparently more popular than when I went into office. So I'm kind of deliberate, I guess, in my manner, but whatever it does translate into politically hasn't worked too bad for me so far.
Another thing that you've said about one of your motivations for getting in the race was to make sure that conservative principles are upheld, and you said in one of your emails that you sent out that conservatives do not want to have to come back from another Clinton victory. Why should Americans be afraid or worried about electing Senator Hillary Clinton?
Well, because she represents the values of the Democratic Party right now, which is basically higher taxes and more regulation and more government, essentially patterning themselves after the Western European model at a time when Western European countries are starting to pattern themselves more like us. So she is ahead in the polls right now in terms of her candidates and will possibly be the standard bearer. So it's time we start talking about that.
A couple of political and personal questions where they join, and Jake Tapper raised them. Governor Romney, we have seen him on the campaign trail actually running up and down, talking to people, showing implicitly, it's assumed, that he's young and that he's got the strapping good health to run for president. Are questions of health fair in this campaign? And a lot of people have wondered, will you be giving people updates on your health?
Yeah. Well, somebody told me about those running Romney commercials. I was wondering what he was running from, but maybe that'll be in the next commercial.
Jake also raised.
Health is always an issue. I am a cancer survivor. At least two others on the Republican side of this race are cancer survivors. I assume that's something we'll all be talking about. My latest checkup was, 100%, and I'll be doing checkups from time to time for my own benefit, not because of request of the news media, and we will make those available. So, if I thought I had any problems, I assure you I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. I haven't been sick a day in my life from this. So it's a good kind of thing to have, if you can say such a thing, and it shouldn't present any problems.
A quick question, too, because Jake raised it. I have never seen so much reporting about a candidate's wife as about your wife, Jerry, as we know, almost 25 years
So
younger.
You're going to report some more on it?
Well, I'm going to let you answer everybody out there. Does it say anything about you? They have a younger wife. And what about these reports that she's running the campaign?
Jerry, this campaign started around our kitchen table a few months ago. It's so unusual. I guess people have a hard time figuring it all out. Jerry and me and a couple of friends. And Jerry's got and I have a 4-year-old and a 10-month-old. And that's the number one priority in our household. But in the meantime, she is smart. I confide in her. She helps me in things that I want to do. And I ask her to help me do this and be the intermediary in a situation where I was trying to disengage from a television show, disengage from a radio show. Condoleezza Rice had asked me to chair the International Security Advisory Board for her State Department, and I was doing those sorts of things and my personal affairs in order so I could make a decision to run for president if the stars lined up. And she was helping me during the period of time and doing what I asked her to do. And if some people who got their feelings hurt anonymously now want to go after her instead of me because they might feel like she's an easier target, there's nothing I can do about that. But I don't have any further need for any explanation for anything that she's done. Thank goodness she's there.
Questions answered this morning. And Senator Thompson, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Hope to see you again here a lot on the campaign trail.
I'm sure you will.
Hope so. Okay, thank you.